Hey guys, Carl here. You'll notice Sarasota Tim's not in the title, so I'm going to be a little bit more professional and try and control my language because I was driving around today listening to stuff, and this guy came on and he really made me upset. And so I'm going to do a poor man's reaction channel to it until I get my computer to where I can do it properly, like Life and Vibe does it. But anyway, he says, Snyder Reports, he says Amazon drivers are now demanding tips. That's just not true. It's against Amazon policy. The Amazon drivers get paid by the hour. They don't get tips. Yeah, around Christmas time, people will give you a tip or they'll put out water and candy for you. But that's just people being nice, just like they do to the mailman. But we don't demand it. Nobody does it. I'm sure there's the occasional jerk dude that does that, but no, we don't do that. And then even the dudes that do flex don't do that. That's not the way it is. There's no tips in Amazon. So these independent things you're talking about are just isolated incidents. And if it's really happening, I got a comment section right down there. You can let me know. And I'll report the drivers for you, because you're not supposed to be doing that. But here's this dirtbag is doing clickbait and then giving us all a bad name. No, us Amazon drivers, we work hard out there in the winter, in the snow. Any packages that's 50 pounds or under, we're lugging it to your door, and we're compensated for it. We don't need tips. If you want a tip, that's something fine. That's just like here on YouTube. But nobody's asking for it. Nobody's demanding it. And he used the word demand in all capital letters. He's a jerk.
Amazon drivers are now demanding tips to deliver your packages. Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. And it's not just Amazon. We are seeing this with everybody. Now, granted, if you are delivering for Grubhub or something like that, or Uber Eats, I understand asking for a tip, but for an Amazon delivery driver, or in one case, a United States Postal Service delivery person, asking for a tip is absolutely insane. But
He's got one example of someone in the U.S. Postal Service that's demanding a tip. They don't do it either. Amazon doesn't do it. And Grubhub and those other things, those are completely different. They tell you up front how much you're going to get paid to deliver an item and if there's a tip on it. And the problem with tips is the customer can take them back up to a day later. So you could think you're getting a tip and deliver something and not get a tip. So if you're a good delivery driver, you just assume there's no tip on it. And so if it's worth delivering it for that price, you deliver it. And if you're a no-tip person, that's the reason your stuff doesn't come to you and it comes to you cold, is because they're doing, they shouldn't take it at all. If you do a delivery and you don't put a tip on there for like DoorDash or Grubhub or something like that, and you don't leave a tip, nobody should accept it, and it should just sit there because that's just rude. But Amazon, nope.
I want to read you what is going on. I want to read you a couple comments that I received just recently. And again, this is absolutely ridiculous that right now the tipping culture is getting insane. People are asking for tips on just about everything. Now, I'm going to break this down in just a moment, explain what is going on, and what happened as well, and you can give your feedback if this is something that is justified, or is this something that we should not see here in 2025? So I'll get right down to that in just a minute. But all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin.
Isn't that funny? He just asked you for his tip to like and subscribe. Well, he didn't say subscribe, but to like. That's a YouTuber asking for a tip, and he's asking for a tip. It may not be compensation money-wise. He's just as bad. And I admit, I go to Mike's to get a sub sandwich, and the thing comes up and asks if you want a tip. If you don't want a tip, you don't tip. But there's nothing wrong with having a tip jar out and stuff like that. If you don't like it, then don't go shop there.
So here's what's going on. We are seeing the tipping culture just go bananas. When somebody comes and delivers food and you have to give them $100, that's ridiculous. I've seen it multiple times. I actually had somebody just recently reach out to me and say that they purchased something from, I believe it was Carl's Jr.'s or some fast food restaurant, and they asked Grubhub to deliver it. Well, Grubhub did deliver. They brought it up to their door. I think the guy took a picture, realized he wasn't getting a tip, so he grabbed his bag and left. Okay? We see this all the time.
It does happen. And those people shouldn't take those orders. If there's no tip on the order, you shouldn't take it. It tells you in advance if there's going to be a tip or not. And then ringing the doorbell and trying to get a tip when they didn't tip is just wrong. If someone places an order on Grubhub and doesn't leave a tip, you decline it. You don't take it. That's the right way to handle it if you're a driver. If you're a person and you're ordering a $3 or a $5 sandwich and you don't put a tip on it, how is the person that brings it to you supposed to make any money at it? They don't. So you're worse, I think. Anyway.
But here's what I think is ridiculous. Listen to this, okay? Because keep in mind, Amazon, big, massive company, now their drivers are asking for tips. Listen
That's
to this.
false.
Okay? This is what somebody wrote. Somebody wrote, and I quote, "Can you tell me if I am in the right here? I think I am. So, my Amazon delivery driver knocked on my door on Christmas Eve to hand me my package and tell me Merry Christmas. He then proceeded to ask me for a Christmas bonus. I said thank you, laughed, and then shut my door, not realizing he was serious. Then, a few days later, I got a larger box from Amazon, and he brought it to my door again. He knocked on my door and said carrying this large box wasn't really part of his job, and said that most customers give him $5 for delivering their packages to the door. Am I wrong to think?"
That's just not true. And he's saying he had someone write it in the comments. People say all sorts of stuff in comments. That doesn't make it true. So he needs to have someone with an actual name say this, an address, and that driver should be fired, because Amazon drivers don't do that. The good ones don't do that. I'm sure there's bad ones, just like there's bad ones in everything. But it's not the norm. It's less than 1%. I'm certain of it.
That Amazon drivers should bring packages to the door. That is interesting. Now, first off, if you are receiving a lot of packages, every single day or every single week, I understand, you give your driver, right? You give them a little Christmas bonus, a gift card, you give them, cash, whatever it may be. Now, if you have a different delivery person every single day, then I probably wouldn't do that. But if I have the same delivery person every single day, week in and week out, yeah, I'm probably going to give them a little bit of a Christmas bonus. Now, this is what somebody else wrote and said, and I quote, "I get this all the time. I have even had an Amazon and a USPS delivery person stick a note with a QR code for me to send them a tip. It is their job to deliver packages. I'm a specialist for a call center for a hospital, and I don't request a tip for taking calls. Tipping has gotten out of hand." Now, that one's interesting.
He's doing this for clickbait. I mean, yeah, tipping is out of control, but that just didn't happen. And nobody's going to leave a QR code. That's just outrageous. I mean, I can't even believe that one. That one's got to be a total lie.
As well. Now, here's where I think I draw the line. Somebody comes up, hands me a package. Okay, great. Now, if they linger, do I give them a tip? Probably not. Now, if it's a big package, which, recently I ended up buying a bigger item from Costco, and I get a call from the people, from the call center at Costco saying, yeah, their driver's almost there. Just wanted to make sure to confirm that I'm going to be there. And I told them, you know what? Just leave it in the driveway. Just leave it in the driveway, and I will grab it. And the lady said, "Are you sure? I need to make sure, because if this gets stolen, we can't be on the hook. Costco's not on the hook." And I told them, "Don't worry about it. I'm not feeling great. I'm going to have somebody come and grab it, put it in my garage. So just drop it off the truck, leave it there, and I will put it away. I'm inside. I'm perfectly, capable of moving it myself, but I don't want to get anybody sick." Okay, simple. Now, if I were to have those people deliver it into my garage or bring it into my house, easy. Give them a quick $20, $10, whatever it may be.
We have that at Amazon too. It's called heavy bulk. Anything that's 50 pounds or over, we deliver it. But some certain instructions say that the person has to be there for delivery, or you can't deliver it. So they are called in advance when you're on the next stop going there. And if they're not going to be there, you don't deliver it. But that's because the instructions are to not deliver it. If they ordered it and said you can just drop it on the front door and it's all good, then we drop it on the front door, take a picture, and go. But he seems like the type of guy that put in the code that he wants to get the package. And then once he's got the code in, he wants to change the instructions while it's en route. It doesn't happen that way. Nobody's got the authority to change his instructions, including him. Once you put it in, because the person, there's no way we can know who he is on the phone. He could be the kid. Who knows? So once you put the instructions in, those are the instructions, and we have to follow them. That's just how it is. And we don't care about getting a tip. It's just we care that you're there to get it, because we're not going to drive all the way out to you if you're not going to be there.
Whatever I have on me. Now, couches delivered from Costco. They said they could bring it in. They could set it up, do all that stuff. After they were done, they unboxed it. They took all the boxes. I think they took the old couch. They took everything. The guy vacuumed. I gave him $20 or $50 even, whatever it was. Okay, because there's 3 guys. It was like $30. Gave him a $100 bill. So
he didn't have to tip for that service. He was charged extra for that service. Amazon does the same thing, where they'll come and put it up, and they come in with little booties and vacuum everything up and do everything really nice for the Karen. But that's compensated, and you're getting paid by the hour. So if he feels like he wants to tip, then that's just completely up to them. But they're compensated for that, and they get paid more than a typical delivery driver. So they're compensated. They don't need a tip, and they were not going to ask for a tip.
$33 a piece, right? Not bad. So tipping in that sense, yes. But an Amazon driver, that's what I'm questioning. Do you tip? And if you do, how much do you tip? If a box is this size.
No, right? You don't tip. You don't tip your Amazon driver. They're paid by the hour. They're paid by the lot. They don't need anything extra. Like no, you don't. Now, that's an easy answer.
And I'm bringing back some old stories, but this is where it's just insane. Okay? And I've talked about this before, where I actually went to go do some work on my truck, and I took it in the mechanic, and the majority of the work that was done, again, it wasn't a lot of work. It happened in a couple hours, quick little job. And the majority of the cost of it was the part. But when I went to go pay, they already had in like the 20 or 25%. And this was like $1,000, invoice. So they were trying to charge me more than the labor just to pay for or in a tip. It's absolutely insane. Or when you go to the dentist and
that's not a tip when you're at the dealership. They have their cost, and then they have what they sell you the part for. It's not a tip, it's a markup. And it happens all the time, every day, at every place you buy parts. That's just how it is.
Now, they ask for a tip. There's a tipping box right there. And I went to a burger joint, a little fast food place, okay? And normally, when you go through drive-through, they ask you for a credit card, sign anything, nothing, don't ask for a tip, anything like that. But then I walked into the business, instead of going through the drive-thru to help them out, they had a long line. So I had to walk in, and they print off the, oh, sorry, that one wasn't it. Print off the other one that actually had the tipping portion. And again, it's a fast food place, kind of little burger joint. Gave them a few bucks as a tip, nothing much. But again, I went in to help them out. This is what's crazy now. Everybody's asking for a tip. Now, here's the one question I have for you. Where is the craziest place you have received a request for a tip? And did you tip? And how much? I'm just curious, because right now, this is what we're seeing so much. A friend of mine just recently.
He's such a good. All he wants to do is talk about tipping and how outrageous tipping is. And he threw all us Amazon drivers under the bus just to do his little tipping thing. And Amazon drivers don't ask for tips. And all the other examples he has nothing to do with Amazon. So, dude, if you want to just talk about tipping and tipping being crazy, do that. But don't use Amazon, because we're not doing that. Everything you accused us of is not happening. And if it is, put it in the comment section below and use your real name and real photo. Yeah. So anyway, I was upset about that. Don't mess with Amazon. We don't request tips. We don't ask for tips. You don't tip. See ya. Peace. Have a good one.